Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Saving Maria by Truant D. Memphis, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Our story begins in Canada. A friendly eagle provides us with a sweeping view of the early morning bustle in a winsome rural town. We fly over snow-capped woods to an isolated cabin. We descend on the cabin, noting a young coy dog curled up on the front porch. In through a fog-covered window, we float. Act 1, Scene 1. Inside an intimate sanctuary dressed in warm colors and illuminated by the soft light of candle flame, a man sits quietly, deep in a meditation used to fill the requirements of sleep. So deep, in fact, that in this instance he is asleep. An unusual occurrence regaining regularity of late, gently snoozing through metaphysical lessons on the benefits of active thoughtlessness. Oh well, one way or another, sleep requirements fulfilled. A hodgepodge of personal effects adorns a small wooden table organized to serve as an altar for personal reflection. Among the items are a handmade paintbrush, an antique metronome, the tiny portrait of a baby, and a weathered name tag inside a plastic sleeve. The name on the tag, Smith. To the man's left, 3 tamarin monkeys wearing kung fu uniforms sit in the lotus position with their eyes closed. Their names are Sir Alistair Pickney, Stevie Two Sharks, and Zeus. One final moment of peace and quiet as we zoom in on the monkeys, finishing with a close-up of Zeus's face as an alarm clock sounds. Zeus's eyes flash open. Here we go. Squirrel-sized monkeys rise to a squad formation. The alarm hasn't shaken their master from his inward state. Stevie Two Sharks lets loose the shriek of battle, and the diminutive warriors attack. Tiny furry poopers jump up and down on the human's shoulders, legs, and head while slapping at his face and pulling his ears. After several minutes with no response, Sir Alistair Pickney bites his master's nose. Gently, though, so as to not break the skin. Littlethumb Brooks's eyes creak open and cross themselves to view the mouth locked onto the tip of his nose. His brain has not yet arrived. Slowly but surely, the serviceable part of his mind returns to the present. Did I fall asleep again? Man, that was deep. The sound of the alarm clock registers. He looks to the clock as the monkeys mount another assault. Shit! The monkeys pause. Shit! We're going to be late! He springs to his feet and discards the monkeys, who quickly realign and attack formation. Yeah, says Zeus. Why do you think we're attacking you? Just kidding. This isn't that type of story. The monkeys don't speak, though they are remarkably intuitive and adorable. I'm going to hammer that point, so watch your thumbs. Littlethumb shoots through the cabin, wondering how in the hell he managed to screw up setting his alarm again. If this keeps up, he may have to reconsider his pre-mission meditations. Knocking inconsequential bric-a-brac aside into the ground along the way, he stumbles more than once over animal toys, not left where they belong, until he stubs his toe so fiercely the pain sends him tumbling through a doorway into a room full of computers. He finishes the forward roll of his tumble by gracefully rotating and flopping into a rolling chair. At the last second, the chair decides not to participate and squirts out from underneath him. The monkeys cackle. Very funny, says the human as he stands and recovers the chair. Zeus and Sir Alistair Pickney shake their heads in agreement. Stevie Two Sharks smiles and holds up a thin headset for his master. Thank you, sir. Littlethumb dons the headset and takes a seat in front of an array of monitors, stabbing at a keyboard with controlled urgency. Commands entered, he cracks the knuckles in his fingers and reaches for a computer mouse stylized as an old-fashioned telegraph key. Zeus, a little traveling music, please. The household's monkey minister of music presses play on a nearby radio. The opening drum roll from Hot for Teacher by Van Halen announces Littlethumb's arrival to the airwaves. Thanks for joining us. The voice in Littlethumb's ear belongs to his uncle, currently halfway around the world, uncomfortably bobbing up and down on a camel, suffering from intestinal issues. My pleasure, says the nephew. Sound off. 1 in position, Irish accent. 2 in position, Armenian accent. 3 in position, Greek accent. 4 in position, Portuguese accent, I think. 5 in position, definitely American. 13, almost in position. The madman Samoset Daring Bird Jones, speaking as he drops down from atop the gassy camel, Littlethumb's uncle. Shaman, seer, troublemaker, and de facto leader of an obstreperous international cabal. Ladies and gentlemen, the Electric Medicine Men. The Electric Medicine Men is an extended underground network of wrong riders, do-gooders, and wayward rabble-rousers, either born with pure hearts or at least a little bit crazy in the best way. Also called the E2M. The Electric Medicine Men travel the world fighting the sins of aristocracy from the bottom up. Known for hijacking black market shipments, toppling evil dark web networks, sabotaging fast food processing facilities, obfuscating corporate marketing initiatives, supporting liberal arts educations, destroying oil pump jacks, protecting indigenous peoples, freeing caged animals, and in general being an all-around pain in the ass to the evil forces in this world, who unscrupulously seek power and wealth. The gang is in Western Sahara preparing to hijack a shipment of ivory headed north to Morocco. This caper is almost a no-win scenario. On one hand, stealing a shipment of poached ivory will screw some jerks out of making evil money. On the other hand, if the heist is successful, the E2M will remove into inventory from a market whose players won't stop their evil trade, resulting in more dead animals. Damned if you do, more damned if you don't. Take solace in the ivory's purpose if successfully stolen. Though it will still be sold, proceeds will go toward further protecting animals from poachers, creating a spiritual circle. Circles are strong. Cutting into satellite relay, Littlethumb serves from afar as the eyes, ears, and organizational force of the Electric Medicine Men. Mark is a quarter mile out, tagging now. Escorts, Daring Bird occupies the final intercept position with their target not yet in view. 3 confirmed. 2 civilian rides, 1 cargo truck, reinforced ballistic glass, arms in question. Copy that. Hey, Bodie, your operational jingo jango has gotten very smooth. That's Silas the entertainer, purveyor of the Irish accent, jokingly referred to as Mick or Mick the Dick, lovingly referred to as Sal. A man of many nicknames and vices, though most of his vices are women. Thank you, one, responds Littlethumb. The manual you sent has been helpful. Hold the chatter, says Daring Bird. Chatter holding, chatter holding. Copy chatter hold, copy chatter hold, copy chat. God damn it, shut up, Daring Bird snaps. 3, 4, 5, falling behind target. Falling in. On 3. On 4, literally. Titus the Nazarene, Babiana the Brazilian bitch Bello, and Jimmy the Tweaker all move into position behind the motorcade of contraband. Babiana drives. Jimmy keeps one arm wrapped around her waist and the other up across her torso, gripping her shoulder like a seatbelt. Silas the entertainer watches their left flank from behind a sand dune. Hiding behind a dune on the right flank is Gero Kasabian, the Armenian butcher. Okay, gang, Littlethumb says. Target in position in 10 seconds. 1, 2, that's your mark. Daring Bird takes a silent 3 count. Engage. His Captain Picard impersonation falls distinctly flat, though his team delights in the effort for that very reason. Personally, I think he overworks the accent. A little goes a long way in a single word impersonation. After years of practice, Daring Bird sounds like a Scottish serial killer with a mouthful of marbles. Babiana screams, "You're so bad at that!" as she guns her bike toward the motorcade. On cue with his team's assault, Daring Bird says, "You love it," and triggers explosions to block the motorcade. All of the motorcade's vehicles slam on their brakes amid a temporary sand cloud. Titus, Babiana, and Jimmy take out the escorts, tossing low-impact charges under the SUVs as they breeze past on their bikes. The charges explode with non-lethal force, but flip 2 of the vehicles. Third SUV shoots up a few feet and drops straight back down. A single reminder of the security force stumbles out, attempting to gain his bearings. Titus circles back, bonks the man on his head with a rubber mallet, and kicks closed the door the man exited. Babiana and Jimmy weave through the vehicles, tossing magnetic devices at them. The devices interface with the vehicles electronically, allowing Littlethumb to control the door locks and trap the passengers inside. Silas and Gero take out 2 guards riding on the rear of the target vehicle, a cargo truck. As the sand cloud settles, the cargo truck driver sees a lone man standing in front of him, aiming a rocket launcher in his direction. Daring Bird is tall and lean, his frame strapped with wiry muscles and covered in the highest quality faux leather a modern-day medicine man can purchase. Hot for the desert, yes, but fashion is mastered by form, not function. A patch covers his left eye, with multiple scars sneaking out from underneath the patch and its strap. The desperado shaman might appear less intimidating if he weren't holding a rocket launcher, but not by much. With a twitch of the rocket launcher, Daring Bird motions for the driver to exit the vehicle. The driver spills out of the truck and scurries off into the desert. "I was going to loan you the camel," mutters Daring Bird. Babiana pulls up next to the cargo truck's empty cab. Jimmy hops inside and takes the wheel. All right, let's get that truck off the road and wrap this up, says Daring Bird. You guys are 2 minutes ahead of schedule, says Littlethumb. Nice work. Makes up for the late start, Daring Bird snorts. What late start? We were late into position. Semantics. And while we're at it, how'd you wind up on a camel? Bacantics. Aha. The others join in the laughter except Silas, who says, Bacantics? What's that mean, 13? I like to party. A frequent yet peculiar phenomenon of the world trapped in linear chronology is the coincidental timing of certain occurrences. While our heroes are busy living their best good guy lives, another heist of significant proportion occurs somewhere in Western Europe. In an undisclosed major city, a famous art collection is loaded onto a large truck. The collection tours the world, moving from museum to museum on a regularly scheduled basis. The security detail travels with the collection. Not unheard of when moving artwork of significant value, but in this instance, there is a level of pomp and circumstance specifically employed for marketing purposes. After all, the easiest way to make sure people know how interested they should be in something is to tell them. The security detail is led by a stern older gentleman with bowler hat wearing and cane tapping sensibilities, a gentleman of lesser birth and chosen nobleness, an even hand, an impeccably dressed soldier. In 10 minutes, the gentleman will lie naked, tied up in an alley in the center of our undisclosed city. The art collection will have been stolen. The police will have arrived. 10 minutes have passed. A band of extreme art thieves has fulfilled the prophecy of my previous paragraph. Suffer and succotash. The heist was sponsored by Nuclear Extreme Caffeine Sports Drinks. Go extreme. Go nuclear. 2 police inspectors exit their vehicle into a nasty storm. The taller man holds an umbrella. The shorter man stands halfway under his partner's umbrella and halfway in the rain. A young patrol officer approaches. Inspectors, what's the status? Asks the taller man as they walk into the heart of the crime scene. Stolen truck carrying an art collection on its way to the airport. 8 men security detail left behind, all down, but none of them appear critically injured. Witnesses, I presume? Asks the shorter man. The entire neighborhood, sir. We're gathering statements. Early indication is 15 to 20 gunmen. This was a large-scale assault. An art collection in the middle of the day, in the middle of the city, says the taller man. This was a show, says the shorter man. Agreed. Shots fired? Yes, sir, replies the patrolman. Odd detail there, sir, for a robbery. So far, all we've found is non-lethal ammunition. Shrewd, the tall inspector responds, minimizes the potential charges against them. Grunts the shorter man. Practical art thieves. The short guy's rocking a mustache, by the way. I thought about calling the inspector's mustache and Jerry, but didn't bother. I invite you to think of them as such for the rest of this passage. Remember, short guy is mustache, and tall guy is Jerry. Inspectors, another patrol officer shouts out. I've got another man over here. Half a block away and around a corner, in an offshoot from the main alley, the inspectors find the officer standing near a cluster of garbage bins, shouting to his compatriots for a blanket and gurney. The inspectors line up next to him, along with the patrolman they were already speaking to. There, behind the rubbish, lies our honorable head of the security detail, face down, naked, bruised, and battered. A 9-man security detail, as it were, says the taller man. This one must have given them a fight. I think so, agrees the shorter man. Curious, they stripped him. Indeed. Oh, they stripped them all, sir, says the lead patrolman. The inspectors exchange a glance, and the shorter fellow considers admonishing the patrolman for not sharing this detail sooner. Before he can decide, medical aides arrive with blankets and a gurney to retrieve the naked man. They cut the zip ties binding the naked man's wrists, then roll him over and secure his neck for movement. My lord, says the shorter man, before the victim is covered. Yours and mine both. It's a wonder he didn't use that thing to untie himself. Well, he is unconscious. The taller man shrugs his shoulders, a gesture implying a multitude of potential responses to his partner's dry retort without saying a word. I would have said, I'm pretty sure that thing's a separate life form. So, this shorter inspector continues. They initiate the attack around the corner there, occupy the truck with the art shipment, exit this way, and our phenomenally endowed friend here makes one last attempt to stop them. Agreed. Why strip the security detail? Perhaps they were looking for something hidden in their clothes or on their body, a key or document maybe? Whatever the thieves were looking for, it was faster to strip the security team and take the clothes to search later rather than search them here on the street. Or they were attempting to delay identification of the security details members for some reason. I wonder. Were they merely trying to confuse the situation? I suppose we'll find out soon enough. Most likely, I'll call a team down to collect prints. I'll start the report. We're back in the desert where the electric medicine men have moved to a secure location hidden within a caravan. The camp is settled around an oasis and obscured from long-distance observation by the surrounding dunes. This nomadic tribe, like many others, appreciates the E2M's work and welcomes them with open arms. Underneath the large tent, Jimmy the Tweaker is standing on the back of the cargo truck, staring inside. Boss, you need to see this. Pronto. Almost there. Hurry, says Jimmy. Salvador does not hurry. You named the camel? Asks Jimmy. You named the camel after me? Asks Silas. Don't flatter yourselves, my friend. His face reminds me of Dolly. What is it, Five? Asks Littlethumb. What's in the truck? Radio silent on this one, Bodie. We'll update when 13 has arrived. Copy that, Littlethumb turns to Zeus. Coffee break then. Zeus agrees. Littlethumb retrieves a cup of coffee. In Western Sahara, Daring Bird arrives at the cargo trucks atop Salvador the camel. Bebiana has also made her way to the rear of the truck and stands beside Jimmy the Tweaker. What's all the fuss? Daring Bird asks, stepping off Salvador and directly onto the rear liftgate of the truck. Bebiana holds a single finger to her lips, requesting Daring Bird not react verbally to what he will see. Peering into the truck, the old salty dog yelps anyway. Oh, fuck me.